WayofTime here, bringing to you another episode of EEPower. So, last time we were, building the base and getting some of this fun stuff all sorted out, putting in our nice little ME network, etc. Now, I was building the base and getting the ceiling of this area and the floor on the top all figured out. So I like to, when I build floors, when I finally build them, I should add, I want to go for a nice pattern. So we have some glass here, and I think a good pattern. Now, I tried something different with this and started with a stone brick face. And by going with that, I then added smooth stone and chiseled brick in with some glass. I also did another pattern over there, and I'm gonna go for another pattern there and there. Now if we go over here, I put an aerial faith plate, so when we just hop on, we go to our next floor. Now the descent down is a little more tricky, that's why I'm hoping to get some parachute on later on. But anyways, so we have a smooth stone base here as well, and the advantage of the smooth stone base is that we'll be able to see a nice little ring for the bricks, so we'll know not to go past that point, otherwise we'll meet an untimely demise, which would kind of be unfortunate in this world, seeing as I do not have a jetpack with me. Wait, I do, but it's not very charged full, so I might need to do that at another time. So what we're going to be doing in this episode is working on getting some form of ME crafting. So we'll directly go and start an auto-crafting network. We'll start with a small one. We have to go small because we are going to need to fill it. But let's try to explain this a bit better instead of just me running my gums. So, auto-crafting in applied energistics is quite interesting in the fact that it can pull from the ME terminal, or rather from all these disks, but there's a certain eloquence that's required. You can go for a multi-block structure, and the multi-block structure, what's in it, determines how well it performs. There's a few things, and let's pull up our NEI and look what we need. We need to get a containment wall for all of the edges and corners of our multi-block crafting structure. All of the sides use ME heat vents, and then we have two options for the guts of it. We can either do an ME crafting CPU, or if I can find it, we can put ME pattern providers. The pattern providers allow for 64 patterns to be added to the system, whereas the crafting CPU speeds up the crafting. I think it takes off the limitation, or rather the delay, of the crafting, or maybe at a certain point it allows for multiple crafting at the same time. I might have to do a bit more research on that, but first of all, we're going to have to start with something a little fun, which requires a pattern encoder. Now, I did go ahead and made some basic processors. Let's go into our list. Here we go. Let's get all of them. And what we're going to want to do is make some of these. Let's see what we're going to need. First of all, we're going to go for a 3x3x3 crafting structure. That will require 20 ME assembler containment walls, so quite a bit of iron, gold, and quartz. Then we're going to need 6 heat vents, not too bad. And then finally, we can't really go for a crafting CPU because there's only one slot left. We have to go with the pattern provider. So we need 2 conversion matrices for this, but 3 in total. So let's put our conversion matrix by getting this back up, and we need redstone, quartz, and iron. Thankfully, we have all the iron in the world, and it is all nice and merry. And I'm hoping eventually we can get this a lot quicker. That's the whole point for doing all of this auto crafting. So let's see. Pattern provider, shall we create that first? Or no, we need to go for the pattern encoder. And this pattern encoder, I'll get into a bit more details once we get it up and running. And I'm kind of yearning for the nice little vanilla mechanics that we could have had. And why are you going like that? I do not want you to go like that. Thank you very much. Conversion matrix for the next part. So this is a pattern encoder. It doesn't actually require any energy. But if you look here, this is a nice little interface, and it gets a little interesting. What we can do is take, say, our stone blocks and put them as a pattern. This is pretty much a crafting pattern that we can code in. Now, unfortunately, it needs another thing, and as you can tell by the pattern encoder name, it needs a blank pattern. Now, that requires glowstones, quartz, glass, and etc., and it doesn't get stored in here. The items are not actually lost, they're ghost items. And you can have multiple stacks, though it doesn't really do anything for you per se. It's, well, something that we can probably get into later on. It might be something we can elaborate on. We'll have to see if we can get that sort of system to work at a later time. So now, the only thing we're going to need, and the reason we don't have any is because, well, there currently wasn't any recipe that needed it, was to get some glowstone. Wait, is glowstone in here? Dang it, there was glowstone. There was 15 glowstone. Oh well, so glowstone will give us some patterns, and we do have enough for some happy fun times. Wait, quartz in the middle, iron at the bottom, and glowstone. So let's go make, how many of these? How many do you want to make? I think 4, my good Sunny Jim. 4 should be a nice little number to start off with. So now we have the blank patterns, and we're going to need to do a few things with this blank patterns. For one, I'm thinking we're going to go and make a conversion matrix, since it's going to be something that we're going to use quite a bit. So we need iron, redstone, ME basic processor, and quartz. So iron, redstone, basic processor, and quartz, we all have it here. So all we need to do is put the blank pattern in, only need 1 in there. So let's pull up the recipe again. Iron at the bottom. Wait, yes, no, maybe so. Let's go with that. Might be good if we get that. Basic, we have the recipe here, my friend. Conversion matrix, let's check the recipe. Iron at the sides, quartz like that. So if we remove that, put it here, put this here, and have it so it's only 1, just in case, we can encode this recipe here by pressing encode, and now we have an encoded assembler pattern, and it crafts 1 conversion matrix by using 4 iron ingots, 2 quartz crystals, 2 redstone, and 1 basic processor. So now we have this little thing to help us further on to get some of our crafting. So now let's continue onwards, because we need to make some other parts. Let's get our ME stuff back up, and we need to make the assembler container wall. So container wall will require a bunch of quartz, a bunch of gold, a bunch of iron, and a bunch of insanity, since we got some of that already in supply. Let's go for another stack. We're going to need how many of these? 20? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Going to need a bit more of that. And 20. We got exactly 20, and we're out of quartz. How much quartz do we have here? Only 18. Nah, we must have more than that. We might only have 18. Only 18 quartz. As you can see, Applied Energistics is very quartz hungry. Quartz hungry to the sense that we have to get a lot of it. But thankfully, we do have more than I thought. We have 3 stacks of each dust and quartz crystals. So that is not too bad. So let's go throw this back into the terminal. La la la, la la la. And let's actually go get a stack of these because, hey, why not? Full Vegas or something like that. Okay, so now we need heat vents. Heat vents will require some iron, more iron, in fact. So let's plug in some more iron. We'll need 6 of them. And how many of them? 6, so 2 of these. Good. And we're also going to need some of those cables. So we need to make some more of those quartz cables. How many in total? I'm thinking Well, we have fibers, and I think we'll go with some of these. So 12 in total. And if we have more redstone in here, I think we do have enough redstone, so that's good. We got 12 cables, so now all we need to do is get the iron bars, get the iron, and then we'll have heat vents. And in fact, if I take this and that, we'll go and add this as another pattern to encode. So let's put another one into there. 1, 1, 1. Oops, that is not what I want to do. Once again, probably just in case, I'm gonna go with one each. Then again, we can risk just making that into a dummy one, so might as well. Let's just see what happens when we do this, that, and that. We'll encode that. Okay, so that is bad. So we can throw this blank pattern out because it requires 112 iron bars. So we have to go for the singular items. Now that we know that, we'll not waste any more when we're making all these. So one of these, one of these. Bar, 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 bar. And barring any other unfortunate circumstances, we can actually get this encoded like so. So now we'll have a heat vent as a possible one to encode. And thus, let's store these into here and sort that out. And now we can finally create these. That was only one. I kind of need some more of those, so let's put that into good hands by going like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we'll have some extra wires for future use. So now we have most of the walling that we need. We have the assembly chamber walls, and we have the nice heat vents. So we can pull this to go like so. We'll put it at the bottom, since I think that'll be classy enough, and we just need to go with the edges. It won't connect right away because we don't have the entire structure. We need the heat vents, and going over here, we can build the walls up, wall up, wall up, wall up, down, down, edge, edge, and finally the wall there. And now we have 12 free. So we have our final heat vent will need to be put in. However, we do need one part left, the pattern provider. That will require an advanced processor, storage cell. That will require some more fun stuff. So storage cell first. Let's pull up our provider. We need to get the, not that part. I don't think we need to worry about crafting iron ingots. However, it might prove useful at some later point in time. However, we can just get the iron, rather redstone. That'll be a little bit more useful than we currently have. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do I have it in the wrong order again? I probably do. Quartz? Quartz! Yay! Quartz! Quartz! How have I missed you, Quartz? Well, quite extensively, apparently. So, now that we know how that goes, we'll just make another diamond and cut it up using some of our silicon and our redstone. We'll get our advanced thing over here. Our advanced thingamajiggy. Yes! Now with our advanced thingamajiggy, we can throw it into our not-so-advanced power furnace, then pick it up over here once we have picked up the tab or something similar. Ha-ha! Ha-ha! Hello? You're supposed to be craftimid. Be crafty. Stay crafty, my friends. You know, all that jazz. No, okay, so it had to be sorted. Duh. Why am I thinking that it's such an instantaneous process rather? It's obviously going to be sent, and it's probably in already, so I'm just wasting time like a madman. Who would have thunk it? Okay, there we go. ME Advanced Processor, here we go. Probably don't need the knife as much. And we have our conversion matrices. So I think it's iron siding and a crafting table, correct? Correct. Okay, so now we have our pattern provider. And let's get these for sake of simplicity. Once we put our pattern provider into here, into the blank spot. We can put our heat vent in here, and now you see a nice lovely interface with our ME molecular assembler chamber. It's not going to be fast. Heck, it's not even the biggest you can make. I don't even know what the biggest you can make is. Probably going to have to check up on that. But if we see here, we are now using 13 units per tick of energy. So our generators are going to be using quite a bit more energy than before. However, we can throw in our nice little things over here, and you can see we got our ME encoder assembler pattern and our ME encoder assembler pattern over here. Imagine that. And by holding shift, we can see what they actually are. We only have one page on here, so that's not too useful, but we also have a blank pattern for the taking. So what are we going to do with this blank pattern? Probably, let's put some, actually, let's make a blank pattern by using this blank pattern. So that will be some quartz crystals and some glowstone. Let's only go with one quartz crystal because we want to be very conscientious about our objectives. And iron, and glass. We're also going to need to throw glass into this storage unit. That probably would be the best thing. Okay, so let's use our preformatter. Here, no, it's here. And our quartz in here, and our glass in here will give us this. So we just need to encode a blank pattern on a blank pattern. Now we have a blank pattern, and let's show this in use. First of all, we are going to need to grab some of our fancy glass. Glass is fancy after all, so we want to go as fancy as possible. I think that's fancy enough. Singular piece of glass? No thank you. I do not want to step on that abomination. So let's go inside. We'll go put all of this glass into our ME terminal over here. And then this, and this. Why not? That also. And then let's pull up our sort by. Not here, sort order. And let's put it to the crafting. We want to make a few of these. So by selecting 3 ME blank patterns, we can begin. And then after a bit, we should see that they are going to be crafted by going back into here. Let's see. Now are they actually crafted? That is another thing. Okay, here we go. We got our 3 ME blank patterns. And you can see that, okay, the sort by alphabetical. That's why I messed up. I put it into the sort by alphabetical and didn't see it initially. So here we go. We have our 3 things that we can craft, and we can add some more things to our craftable materials. So if we add, for instance, iron bars, we'll be able to get some iron bars, and then with the iron bars, we can further add some more goodies. So let's first of all add our iron bars, and thankfully this does work recursively. So it's a lot better when it's recursive, so it'll make the iron bars if it's required for an thing like, for instance, our nice little encoder chamber over here. But we're also going to need to add wire. So I'm going to go program a few things with the encoders and see how quickly this fills up, because it can only put in 64 patterns. Then we'll go onwards and see if we can expand this much more easily. So, for demonstration, we have our ME cables crafted here with quartz fiber and 2 redstone. We have our quartz fiber here, requiring glass and quartz dust, and then we have our assemble pattern over here, which is the heat vent, with 4 iron ingots, 4 iron bars, and an ME cable. So, conceivably, when we go and craft one of these heat vents, as you saw, it crafted the iron bars, then it crafted all the cables. Then it went and made the heat vent over here. So now we can throw it back in and see that we have 59 of 63 types in here. We might want to pre-format these eventually for some more useful storage, though we can probably do that at a later time. Now what I'm wondering is, We need to get the ME basic processor. That much is obvious. So if I remember correctly, you're able to put custom things into the preformatter over there. Or wait, is it the preformatter? Sorry, the pattern encoder. You're able to put custom recipes into the pattern encoder so that, for instance, you can say, like, I want to throw 1 gold ingot into it and get 8 iron bars or something. 8 iron bars will be provided when I send 1 gold ingot to this system or something similar to that. So we're going to want to see how we are going to do that. I remember it is a pretty simple block. It might even be one of the things we have here. Maybe the interface. I'm going to go look that up quickly. It should be a relatively easy thing to do. One of the things I want to do easily with it is to make all of these things. So all the basic processors I should be able to make by taking the other processor and just throwing it into the system. That should be what we need. Now I wonder, quartz cutting knife. We have a quartz cutting knife. Is it able to be used without being entirely used up in the crafting grid over there? I'm going to test that out. So we got our quartz cutting knife. And maybe we can add another quartz cutting knife to it. But that being said, let's get our silicon and put it as a recipe. Let's get our silicon, gold, and a happy little chipmunk over there. Sorry for all those animal lovers once again. And we'll put our blank pattern in here. Quartz, it might require that particular damage value though, so I'm not too sure. But it is worth a test. And we'll go like that. Let's encode that and throw it into here and see what happens. We'll put it there and then see that we are able to make one of these. Let's craft one of these. Kind of hard without the quartz cutting knife, isn't it? Let's throw it in. Begin. Huh. Oh, hello, silicon. You kind of needed silicon, didn't you? Okay, now we have the basic processor assemblies. Let's craft 10 of them, shall we? We have all the... Okay, so the quartz knife is getting used, and that is good. But we don't have all of the required quartz, rather the silicon. So we're going to need to throw some more quartz dust into here. So that is good. We can probably also make a recipe for the quartz knife, and with that we'll be able to make all of the basic stuff. That being said, I believe there are some recipes. If we check the recipes, we can smelt just one of these, or we should be able to put it into assembler table with silicon, gold, and redstone. That might be what we want to do eventually. However, I don't think it's a requisite in any sort of shape right now, so we won't need to worry too much about that. But that being said, let's go and encode that thing. We're going to need another encoder and more glowstone. Imagine that. Let's make an encoder quickly then. Sorry, one of these templates. And encode this in. Here, we'll have one of these. And eventually you'll make this through some sort of basic interface. Okay, so we have this assembler pattern. Now let's just find the proper block we need to throw it into the furnace. That is all we need to do. So let's find that. So I was doing a little testing. Let's just throw in our basic processors and throw that into there. What we're going to go with is make another one of these conversion matrix, and we're going to go with an IO port, I believe it is called. Let's first make this and hope it's made. Good. Conversion matrix. Let's find out the ME thing over here. So in ME interface, I believe it does have the option I'm looking for. So let's go and craft this little bad boy up. It's just going to be a simple matter of getting all of the stuff, and thankfully we do have a cable and we got an ME interface. So here, pretty much what it is, once we lay it down, there. So here we have a processing slot. So supposedly, if we put something into the interface, whatever it's interfacing, it'll go, and whenever we call for the ME basic processor, it'll ask for one basic processor assembly. So what I have is, once again, tesseracts, since I don't want to go for the cable all the way over there yet. We'll just put the tesseract here and go to, we'll put it as a 2, what is this? I think it's a 2 furnace. And we'll set it as what? 12. Okay, 2 furnace, 12. Save that, set that, and this will be send only. And since we have it set up well enough over here, we'll just all need to put that here, and we'll put the 2 furnace, set it, and this will only be received. So items, when they're sent to the tesseract over there, will be sent here into the relay, then get relayed and cooked up. So this should conceivably work. So we have our pattern there. And if we look, we should be able to craft these. So let's go with 5 so we can see it. It should send it. Then if we look at our relay, it should have received it. Unless I am mistaken, which is an abject possibility. It might not have sent it because it is not able to do anything. Let's see. Did we get it? No, we do not. Is this waiting for something to be crafted? That is another possibility. It did send the basic processor assembly somewhere, but the question is where. Oh, wait, it did get sent. We just didn't see it. So if you saw, we saw those basic processors go, so it was so quick that we didn't even see it. And now we see that this thing is full and it's starting to use this drive. So that is a bit of a problem. Let's go and get something also, an ME preformatter. We'll need another conversion matrix and a crafting table. But thankfully we are now able to make ME basic processors without being too worried. So we'll just go and create a bunch of conversion matrices. We have a crafting table that's helpful, and this preformatter will be helpful also to meet our end meat. Meat, I say! Meat! All of the meat! And I am going bonkers. Okay, so ME preformatter will format one of these disks. And in fact, let's take everything out of the disks, and it'll get lodged, whatever will get lodged into the chest for now. And we're going to also need another ME device, which I think it's not the access port. Pattern encoder, interface, no. I saw it here. ME IO port. Is that what we needed? Probably. But anyways, let's get our preformatter. And I must have created it already. Did I? Yes, I did. I placed it down. There it is. Ha! Okay, so we're going to preformat one of these storage blocks for only tin, iron, silver. Let's put that back and sort this. So tin, gold, iron, redstone, copper. We don't have any copper in here because it's all in here. Let's throw these back in for now and get our copper, diamonds, and basically all of the really valuable stuff, so that we'll have a lot of stuff to put into it. So that will go with this. We already have the silver, we already got the tin, we need the quartz crystals, and I think that's pretty much everything, unless everything else will go as a miscellaneous. So let's go grab this disk. We may be able to preformat it after the fact. Can we? Okay, so let's put this as quartz dust, diamond, copper, gold, iron, silver, sorry, that's quartz, and redstone. And once we format it, it'll only be able to use those types of things. So it's pre-formatted, and now whenever we put stuff into it, it should only go into that. Now that being said, there's already stuff in the system. So we're going to have to get that stuff out of there so that it'll be able to go into them. That being said, not too much of an easy task, seeing as we have to go and get it. Okay, so that's full and that's not. So let me go organize this mess, then we'll be able to work on everything else. So here we go, an MEIO port. So what we're going to do is take our, once again, our individual items and then format our new disk that we created so that it'll only be able to handle the very special ones that we, well, kind of need to have a large supply of. The reason we're going to do this is so that, well, we'll have a lot of storage and the rest of it can go into a miscellaneous area otherwise. So we got our, I think the last thing that we need is our iron. And if we take a quick look, aluminum, no, that can go into our big bin. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 items that can probably, let's go with 8. 8 is probably enough. So let's go once again to our pre-formatter. We're going to need to put these individual items in. 6, up, 7, and 8. We missed our silver. We can go and format this, and we have all 8 desired items. And then we'll take our I/O port. So if we place this anywhere in the network, let's put it next to our controller. We can transfer data to the network or data to the storage. So what we'll do is put it here, and this should have taken all of the items that refer to those 8 particular types. So we see that there does not seem to be anything that's related to those types. Now what we could do is expand it to sapphire, rubies, and the like, so that we can also have those in it, since we're going to have a lot of those, but I don't think that's necessary. So let's see. This has 54 types, this has 2 types, so if we take this out, put this back there, we'll just take that out, and instead of having it like that, we'll transfer data to the network, and now it's done. So this is completely empty, and this is pre-formatted. So supposedly, there won't be anything else. Now that being said, there's probably some excess there. So let's take this, and instead of doing that, we'll have it transfer data to the network, and only the pre-formatted stuff will go in. You see that one of the parts was deducted because somehow it managed to get the stuff that was unfortunate. So let's put that back in. And these will serve as our overflow. We'll be able to handle 128 items that are considered overflow. And we still have all of the things that we need. So I think that pretty much is all we need to worry about. We'll probably need to handle getting some more glowstone. I don't think glowstone is something that can be crafted, except by using a philosopher's stone with a glowstone block, which doesn't exactly help us. Pulverizing redstone ore, which I don't think we're going to do much of. So we're going to need to go out. Ooh, we could do some bees. Let's go out to just get some glowstone. Well, that's all the time we have for this episode of EEPower. If you like what you see, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe to future episodes. Ooh, actually, that might be good. WayofTime here, signing off. Have a wonderful day.